Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to our English news edition coming to you from Canal, Algérie. I'm your host, Maysa Douma. To the headlines. The Presidency of the Republic announces the official visit of Mahmoud Abbas, the President of the State of Palestine, to Algiers for 3 days from Sunday. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, chairs on Sunday a meeting of the Council of Ministers, which will be devoted to the examination and approval of draft laws and decrees and the presentation of papers relating to the scientific research, startup and telecommunications sectors. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, confirms the lifting of restrictions on investment projects, reveals the creation of a national agency for industrial real estate, and stresses the need to engage in the effort to clean the remnants of corruption. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, has awarded the Medal of the National Order of Merit with the rank of Ashir. And in the national economic sector, successful models of public and private industrial companies such as Consider, Sanatrak and Venus to draw the features of a national investment orientation. First in our news, the Presidency of the Republic announces the official visit of Mahmoud Abbas, the President of the State of Palestine, to Algiers for 3 days, starting on Sunday. The President of the Republic, Supreme Chief of the Armed Forces, Minister of Defense, Abdelmajid Tebboune, will chair on Sunday a meeting of the Council of Ministers. The meeting will be devoted to the examination and approval of draft laws and decrees and the presentation of papers relating to the scientific research, startup and telecommunications sectors. The follow-up of the preparations of the Mediterranean Games, scheduled for 2022 in Oran, will also be discussed. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, presided on Sunday morning the opening of the National Conference of Industrial Recovery under the theme Together to Meet the Challenge. Upon his arrival at the Palace of the Nation, the President was welcomed by the Prime Minister, Minister of Finance Ayman bin Abdurrahman, and Industry Minister Ahmed Zaghdar. He was greeted by the President of the Council of the Nations, Salah Goujil, the President of the National People's Assembly, Ibrahim Boughali, the President of the Constitutional Court, Omar Belhaj, and Lieutenant General Said Shengriha, Chief of Staff of the National People's Army. During his opening speech, the head of the state said that this national conference is held the day after the completion of the construction of state institutions and on the eve of the launch of reforms in the industry sector. It aims to establish a work plan, including all actors, to improve the business climate and relaunch the economy on solid foundations. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, presided on Sunday morning the opening of the National Conference on Industrial Recovery under the theme Together to Meet the Challenge. Upon his arrival at the Palace of the Nation, the President was welcomed by the Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, Ayman bin Abdurrahman, and Industry Minister, Ahmed Zaghdar. He was greeted by the President of the Council of the Nation, Salah Goujil, the President of the National People's Assembly, Ibrahim Boughali, the President of the Constitutional Court, Omar Belhaj, and Lieutenant General Said Shengriha, Chief of Staff of the ANP. Melissa Kabash has the details.
During the National Conference on Industrial Revival held on Saturday under the theme Together to Meet the Challenge, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, affirmed that the economic revival can only be done by cleaning up the residues of corruption and by fighting against the squandering of public money and bureaucracy. President Tebboune gave an example concerning this corruption factory that wasn't granted a construction license only because the owner exceeded the allotted land of the factory.
كيف يعطل دخول مصنع ما في الإنتاج بسبب أو آخر، وأسباب كلها تافهة. بعض الأسباب بيروقراطية محضة، بعض الأسباب سمعت على مصنع متوقف ما بغاوش يعطوه الرخصة لبداية الإنتاج لأن قال المساحة الأرضية اللي كانت مخصصة ليه تجاوزها بمتر ولا مترتين. المصنع تبنى ومجهز وجاهز للإنتاج، حسبوا له هذيك المتر حسبوها له بمليار، خلوا السيد يخدم. مترات توقف لك 70-80 منصب شغل. وين كنتوا انتم ملي كان يتبنى هذا المصنع؟ وين راها الرقابه اللي كانت تبنى في هذا؟ ولا الرقابه كانت في المكتب فقط. اذا هذه المبررات هذه جريمه في حق الاقتصاد الوطني. رخصه البناء لم تسلم لسبب ما والمصنع تبنى، قال ما رخصولوش حنا باش ينتج لان ما عندوش رخصه البناء. كنتم من اهل الكاف انتم راقدين، المصنع كان يتبنى ويتبنى بلا رخصه وانتم ساكتين. نهار اللي بغى يدخل في الانتاج جو. يعني امور واضحه في الحقيقه، يعني ما هيش قضيه سلطه الدوله ولا تطبيق القوانين، ولا هي عرقله مبيته وظاهره للانطلاقه الاقتصاديه. اخلق اكثر مشاكل ممكن، خلي الناس تغضب، خلي الناس تخرج في الشارع تنادي بمناصب شغل لأن البطالة تصبح قاتلة. حرام وغير وطني، تصرفات غير وطنية.
The President of the Republic then called on investors and actors in the sector to address themselves to the mediator of the Republic, stressing that there is a special bureau connected directly with the presidency, dedicated to this sector and these kind of problems, and is ready to receive the investors' complaints and concerns.
في بعض الأحيان كل شيء واجد إلا السيد اللي يعطي رخصة بداية الإنتاج قال نشوف ومازال ورجع غدوة ورجع بعد غدوة ورجع كذا. يعني هذه كلها علامات انحطاط رهيب ما يخص تصرف الاقتصاد نتاعنا. ملايير دولارات صرفت في مصانع، في آخر يجي ان بيروقراط قال رخصة انك نعطيها لك، روح الشهر الجاي نعطيك الرخصة. يعني فهم روحك ادفع. كل شيء ماشي بالرشوة. وهنا نقول راه فيه مكتب خاص بالنسبة لوسيط الجمهورية اللي راه يشتغل مباشرة معايا. كل ما هو مظلوم من هذا الطراز هذا من هذا الظلم هذا ماذا بيا فورا يتصلوا بوسيط الجمهورية ونشوفوا شكون اللي عنده الحق. حرام منكر، هذه مناكر.
The President of the Republic also announced the lifting of the freeze on 57 projects out of 402 suspended for administrative and futile reasons, highlighting the government's readiness to help those ongoing projects. The President also added that the National Agency for Investment Development has lifted the freeze on 581 applications to benefit from the advantages granted by the state, a step that will allow the creation of more than 75,000 job opportunity in a very short time.
المساعدة في إتمام المشاريع قيد الإنجاز أو التي تم تعطيلها لسبب أو آخر. وفي هذا الصدد وبناء على تعليمات أصدرتها تخص معالجة مجموعة كبيرة من المشاريع المتوقفة وعددها 402 مشروع، تم رفع القيود على 57 منها في ظرف قصير جدا. في يعني بالتقريب مصانع جاهزة بالتقريب وقادرة تخلق 75,000 منصب شغل. 75,000 منصب شغل. وريني الدولة المتقدمة اللي قادرة تخلق 75,000 منصب شغل في ظرف قصير مثل هذا. يعني ماناش باغيين نشغلوا الناس، باغيين نخلي الناس في الغضب، باغيين نخلي الناس حذاري حذاري حذاري. ربما ما امور ما تقاس. يقول لك الرئيس راه يهبط الجزئيات. انا الجزئيات تهمني لان يهمني المواطن البسيط.
Still in the investment sector, the President of the Republic affirmed the need to accompany young beneficiaries of credits for the financing of their projects, especially those in difficulty of payment, stressing the necessity to create an agenda for those facing difficulties in payment in order to pay their debts instead of bringing them immediately to justice.
شكاو شباب لتعطي التعليمات ولكن دايرين النية في الهبال كما يقولوا. شاب تاع لونساج دا سلفية، ربما انذاك كانت النية باش يسكتوه توزيع الريع، ما نجحش. اليوم تفوتوا في العدالة، يدير له رزنامة باش يرجع الدراهم، لازم يرجعها، ولكن دير له رزنامة باش يرجع. وإلا كان استثمر في مشروع اللي تجاوزته الأحداث وتجاوزته التكنولوجيا وباش يدخل في التكنولوجيا الجديدة تاع الستارت اب وغيرها، خليه زيدو باش يحول المصنع تاعو إلى إنتاج آخر.
President Tebboune also decided to create a national agency for industrial real estate that will be operational next year with an aim to facilitate the acquisition of land plots by investors within a short time, reaffirming once again that industrial real estate will be taken in charge by the Ministry of Industry alongside the National Agency for Industrial Real Estate.
أنا قررت ابتداء من سنة 2022 إن شاء الله تكون جاهزة وفعالة في الميدان. نخلق الهيئة خاصة، وكالة وطنية للعقار الصناعي. العقار الصناعي ما يولي يتكلف لي به لا المير لا الوالي لا شاف الدائرة ولا غيرهم. وكالة وطنية للعقار الصناعي. نشوفوا الإجراءات من بعد تشري كاع العقار اللي موجود حاليا، تبقى مناطق النشاط هي في متناول رئيس البلدية والوالي أما المناطق الصناعية تبقى من اختصاص وزارة الصناعة والوكالة هذه.
At the end of his speech, the President of the Republic called on for the unification of efforts to build a strong economy based on the spirit of patriotism, recalling that his instructions are underway and that the Algerian state wants to build a strong national economy. Therefore, there is no need to import a product that already exists in our country, a product that is also accessible in the national economy.
احنا عطينا تعليمات وقولوا لي راها تطبق، ولكن فيه بعض المواد اللي ننتجها هنا محليا ما نخليهاش تدخل. راني نحوس على اقتصاد وطني، اون ايكونومي باتريوتيك وطنيه. اللي ما عندوش روح الوطنيه يبعدنا كاينه سيتو. هذه بلا ما نقولها انا، مواد اللي ننتجها علاش نمشي نقتل المنتج الوطن المحلي باش نستورد. قلنا وقت الاستيراد ما قلناش ممنوع، الاستيراد مسموح به، ولكن الاستيراد بالشيء اللي ما ننتجوش، نقوي الشيء اللي ننتجو. بالعكس لا يقول لك انا ما نلبيش الطلبات كلها تاع البلاد، اعطيه واش خصك، قال خصني نوسع المصنع نتاعي، اعطيه باش يوسع المصنع تاعو. اولويات الاولويات غير معقول، غير معقول في 2021 لا غالب نستورد ما هو في متناول الصناعة الوطنية.
It is worth recalling that this conference aims to establish a work plan that will improve the business sector and relaunch the economy on solid foundations.
The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, has awarded the Medal of the National Order of Merit with the rank of Ashir to managers of the national industrial companies, public and private startups, managers, and innovative researchers in recognition of their participation in the diversification of the national economy. This National Conference of Industrial Recovery will last until December 6th under the chairmanship of the Ministry of Industry, Ahmed Zagdar, affirmed during this speech that this conference will see the participation of a draft action plan to be debated and enriched in view of its adoption as a roadmap by all economic and administrative actors to relaunch the growth of industry in Algeria.
السيد مولا كمال يترأس مديرا عاما لمخابر فينيس. مؤسسة فادركو التي يترأسها مديرا عاما السيد حابس عمر وتحضر نيابة عنه شقيقته دنيا حابس. السيد حمودي عمار الرئيس المدير العام لمجمع بيمو. الحاج بورولغا محمد مؤسس الشركة ذات المسؤولية المحدودة EHB Industries. ياسر أمير غزلي مؤسس شركة تكنولوجي. السيد رمزي مصباح مؤسس شركة Algerian Green Autonomy. البروفيسور بالقاسم حبة تنوب عنه السيدة جميلة بوديا، ووراء كل رجل عظيم امرأة.
Sonatrach is one of the pillars of the national economy. It is a public establishment that had preserved the national production of hydrocarbons and contributed to the development of research and exploration of new oil fields, and has even gone beyond competence to build companies and more details with Leticia Sadqawi.
Active Algerian public establishments and the giant of oil. Since its inception in 1963, it had played a major role in Algeria's national economy by providing the most important part of the revenues of the national economy in hard currency. It has launched as a national fuel transport and marketing company to become in 50 years a huge complex that manages one of the most important hydrocarbon warehouses in the world, distributed across the various desert areas of the country. Sonatrach continues to evolve, making an entire series specialized in gas and oil, from finding the materials, extracting, refining, and distributing to marketing. It is the first in Africa and the 12th in the world, making Algeria the second largest exporter of liquefied natural gas and LPG, and the third largest exporter of natural gas in the world. This came in time where the world has known many oil crises, but Sonatrach has made a name for itself internationally through its various projects across 15 countries between Europe, Africa, and America, through its 154 companies, working every day to evolve as Sonatrach always have. Today, it has a rich pipeline across 22,000 kilometers in the country, in addition to 4 oil ports with a capacity of 3,200 metric tons, 6 refineries, 2 petrochemical complexes, 4 LNG liquefied natural gas, and 2 LPG separation complexes.
With a total of more than 200,000 workers, Sonatrach continues to be the leader of economic establishments in Algeria with the help of Algerians working their economy. The National Conference on Industrial Recovery will last until December 6th under the chairmanship of the Minister of Industry. Ahmed Zaghdar affirmed during his speech that this conference will see the participation of a draft action plan to be debated and enriched in the view and its adoption as a roadmap by all economic and administrative actors to relaunch the growth of industry in Algeria.
Our slogan, "Together the Challenge," reflects our firm conviction that the President of the Republic will accompany and support this strategic choice and will raise the challenge to add another pillar in the building of the new Algeria, where every Algerian, whether inside or outside the country, will find his or her comfort. The government's action plan, emanating from the program of the President of the Republic, is based on the strong participation of industry in revitalizing the national economy and increasing its contribution to the gross domestic product.
Consider Group, that is specialized in the construction of major works and transport infrastructures which are essential for the economy, was honored by the President of the Republic. More about the group and its future projects with Leticia Sadqawi. With more than 42 years of experience, a turnover of $171 billion for the year 2020 and a workforce of 40,000 Algerian employees, Consider is undisputed in the field of public works in Algeria. This company has 800 kilometers of railways, hundreds of kilometers of roads, highways, dozens of engineering structures, hydraulic dams, airports, and several thousands of kilometers of gas and oil pipelines, as well as tens of thousands of housing units in its track record. In recent years, the group has expanded its activities by entering the agriculture sector. For the creation of Consider Agricole, we are currently exploiting 17,000 hectares in Babar and Khinchla province. Furthermore, we are going to invest in a new sector, which is agriculture, with more projects to come. Basing off the latest technologies of its projects, the group Consider has managed to impose in the field through the many projects like the extension of Berriqi on a linear of 6.5 kilometers. We are in an urban zone which requires a lot of work and material, a specific material to make tunnels of 12-meter diameters, material which Consider has got. The group intends to expand its horizons internationally. The next destination, the African market. A first project is already in the phase of realization in Tunisia. It is about the realization of several engineering structures of the road section Tunisia-Ben Arous. The National Pharmaceutical Complex Canal is now an institution that occupies an important position at the national and African levels, and this thanks to the efforts in reviving new dynamism in the pharmaceutical industry with the production of several medicines, but most importantly, its production of the anti-COVID-19 vaccine. The details with Melissa.
With more than 150 medicines and 19 medical specialties, the Saidal complex has faced several challenges concerning pharmaceutical production. After nearly half a century of existence, the complex has now fulfilled the market requirements through its advanced units and factories.
In December, Saidal will reach about 125 million pharmaceutical units, which includes a COVID-19 vaccine, with an aim to increase its production with 135 million new units.
As part of its fight against the coronavirus pandemic, the complex is willing to gradually produce more units of the vaccine. As for pharmaceutical production, encouraging new investment in this field is based on the quality of the products as well as human and material resources.
The daily production in the unit of Al-Harraj is up to 50,000 units. Therefore, we insist on the application of the internationally established standards.
Saidal obtained a production license from the National Agency for the Control of Medicine and Pharmaceutical Production in 2018, while this victory kicked off in 2019, where both human and material resources were provided to achieve its goals with an aim to reach the African and international markets.
In light of the competition with economic operators, Saidal keeps working to improve its products according to international standards and achieve national sufficiency with an aim to reach the African market.
The Venus laboratory, specialized in the production of cosmetics, is one of the pillars of the national market, thanks to the high quality of their products, which meet international standards. Manal Ammari.
Throughout 40 years of existence, Venus Laboratories produced cosmetics of all kinds to meet the needs of the national market, with a production capacity of 100 tons per day, made by Algerian youth who are capable of managing high-quality equipment.
We have engineers and vocational school students working here. The latter completed the training course and were recruited once they became competent enough.
1 year after another, the production capacity doubled, along with the will to produce modern cosmetics befitting international standards.
Every year, we work on developing new products with the aim of meeting the customer's needs, ranging from hair products, skincare, toothpaste, as well as sunscreens. We are continuously monitoring the quality of our products, using different equipment up to international standards.
The Venus Laboratories now have to meet the needs of international markets as well, and to do so, the company produces its own packaging to reduce national import. At the start, we faced a lot of packaging issues, but after almost 10 years, the materials we used to import are now fully produced in Algeria. Our products have also reached the markets in several African countries, such as Libya, Tunisia, Côte d'Ivoire, Niger, Senegal, Mauritania, and Morocco, and hopefully soon will reach Saudi Arabia. The Venus Laboratories products are now of high quality, which allowed them to compete with other international brands.
The high-level conference on peace and security in Africa ended on Sunday in Oran. The participants insisted on strengthening coordination between members of the African Union's Peace and Security Council and the UN Security Council to achieve African objectives. On this occasion, Foreign Affairs Minister Ramtan Lamamra reaffirmed Algeria's commitment to defend African issues on the African and international scenes. Details with Manal Ammari.
Foreign Affairs ministers who took part in the Seminar for Peace and Security in Africa unanimously agreed on the reinforcement of coordination between members of the African Union's Peace and Security Council and non-permanent members of the UN Security Council to achieve the African objectives. Ramtan Lamamra stated that Algeria and the President Abdelmajid Tebboune are committed to unconditionally defend all African issues on the African and international levels. Algeria will deplore all the necessary efforts and take all measures to meet the expectations of African and Arab nations, especially since they approved of Algeria's candidature as a non-permanent member within the Security Council for the 2024-2025 mandate.
Progress made in our collective determination to prevent, manage and resolve conflicts. Africa continues to be affected by conflicts, sometimes complicated by factors. Pan-Africa solidarity is the bond that enabled us to liberate our continent from colonialism.
This conference gives a clear vision of the future African diplomacy and endow African delegations accredited to the United Nations with a roadmap which will make African diplomacy an influential and successful component in the interests of security and stability in Africa.
In Morocco, 16 students, including 9 minors, were brought before a judge following demonstrations against the management of the sector. They were arrested for organizing protest rallies and were heard by the Royal Gendarmerie before being brought to justice. The students were arrested on November 30th following demonstrations against the decision unified exams before the situation degenerated into riots. The kingdom has been plunged for about 2 weeks into a situation marked by a massive demonstrations by pupils and students across the region of the country to denounce arbitrary decisions in the field of education and the difficult living conditions experienced by the Moroccan people. In Western Sahara, the Liberation Army continues its military maneuvers. It carried out new attacks against the positions of the Moroccan occupying forces along the Wall of Shame. The attacks were intensified in the Mahbas area. The day before, towns were targeted in the area of Drika and Al Mahbas as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that was it for our news bulletin. Thanks for tuning into our program. Good night.